Coach, have you kind of transitioned a little bit, or at least starting this week, from camp mode to a little bit more game planning?
Yeah, because we've been game planning for a while. So, our coaches have done a good job of, breaking things down, and, we're finalizing. First of all, one thing training camp tells you, you evaluate everything that you have, the players that you have. So now you know what you can do, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. So that gives us a little bit better idea of, how we'll approach it. But yes, we're getting more into the game plan mode versus TCU.
What's showing to be your strengths in the defense right now?
I think starting up front, I think our front has played better. I think we coaches have done a good job of getting the guys in shape. We've created some pass rush, and it's not always been pressure. It's just been, being able to get there with four guys. And anytime you can get pressure with four guys, that helps you do a lot of things in the back end. Now, that being said, when you have running quarterbacks and guys that can scramble around, you got to be able to manage those guys too. I've really been impressed with these young outside linebackers. Tajay McCoy, for a freshman, he's still got a long way to go, but he knows how to play the game. He plays fast, he plays hard. Kyrie has come in here from, as a transfer, and just bought into everything and plays really fast. And of course, the guys we had here in the spring, they just keep building on what they've done. In the back end, I think Shiloh and Trevor have done a really good job of communicating, making sure, we get to go against tempo every day in practice. So a lot of things are coming at you fast. I felt like in the scrimmage on Saturday, we never lost our composure. Well, we gave up, at a point we let a run spit here or there, but we didn't let it continue on to be a bad thing. We got settled down and played and made some plays. I think those guys are doing a good job, and of course Travis has looked good when he's been in there and playing both sides. He's been exceptional on both sides.
You have a pretty deep room yourself. Do you guys plan on playing three safeties at a time most of the times here?
Well, so we most of the time we're five defensive backs in the game. That nickel position, which we call the star, it could be a corner or it could be a safety. Probably the last 4 or 5 guys that I've coached have come out of the safeties room. That's a big position in college football. So because of the hash marks, the hash marks being, it's usually played from the field hash marks to the boundary. So you get a lot of stuff there. So that guy's got to be, really good. My point about playing people is this: if you play at the right standard and you can be productive and not make mental errors, then it gives us an advantage to play a lot of people. And, we want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do that. So, yes, we're deep. We got some growth in some areas that we got to continue on. But, listen, we got 2 weeks to do that, too.
What with Shiloh and his personality, does he kind of remind you of a young Coach Prime out there, just the way he plays and just also the way he communicates with the rest of the team?
Shiloh's got a great personality. The one thing I've seen from him is he's very mature about how he goes about his business. And, even he and Trevor, and when Cam's in there, or when, any of the other safeties are in there with him, they do a good job of communicating. But I think the biggest thing I've seen with Shiloh is, his maturity as a player. He really comes to prepare. He spends a lot of time on his own, and as well as other guys. He's got a group of guys that he takes, and they all, meet together. So by the time I'm watching film with them in the afternoon, they already have watched the video, so now they're absorbing the corrections. And I think the neatest thing about, when you're correcting people, guys have to listen. They can't be thinking about, oh, I got to make an excuse of why I did that. I don't want to hear the why. This is what we got to do to fix it. Those guys have been that way, and they're taking the coaching, and it shows up on film.
You've had a few guys out Jordan and Jaquez, and it looks like Chance May possibly. Do you expect those guys to be back?
Well, listen, that's what we have to do is prepare like they're not going to be here. That's up to the trainers, the doctors, their rehab. Listen, we're not going to put anybody on the field that's not ready to play. That's not what we're about, because they can't play full speed. And the one thing we want to be able to do here is we want to play hard and we want to play fast. And when they get back healthy, then they got a chance to be back.
One of the groups that you have the most turnover, defensive line, stopping the run was a big issue for these guys last year.
Yeah.
How do you feel that group is coming along, and as far as stopping the run goes, where do you see this group at right
Well,
now?
I think if we can eliminate explosive runs, I think overall in fall camp we've done a pretty good job of playing the run. We just got to eliminate the explosive runs. Now, most people when they talk about run defense, they all put it on the defensive line. And to a point, it starts there because you got to be strong in the middle. But how you play the edges of defense, how you squeeze the ball in the secondary. Secondary is as important in run support as the front four. But usually, when it's pass defense, you think it's the DBs. Run defense, you think it's the front, but it's a combination of both. Usually, when you have good pass defense, when you get good pressure. When you have good run defense, you got good fits with the linebackers, and you got good squeeze and overlap in the secondary. So it's both. But I am pleased with what Coach Sal has done with those guys. I mean, he and Nick have done a really good job. They work good together up front. They tie things in together. But I've seen, Shane Coates just improves every day. Leonard Payne's had a really good camp. Amari has done some really good things. He gets brings some girth in there. And then, Bishop Thomas is, he can wreck a lot of things. He causes a lot of havoc. Not very tall, but he can move.
You talk about depth and tempo. What is reaction, if any, when in the challenge when you're coordinating a defense with an offense that snaps it 90 times a game, and maybe a bad thing happens, punts at 20? You don't know. I've noticed their defenses had to play a lot of plays. You could have ended up having a lot of snaps.
Yeah, but the way I'd look at it too, if we defensively, one of our number one goals is to get 3 and out. If you get 3 and outs, you're not going to play as many plays. I think it gives us an advantage in college football to be able to, 10 years ago, there might have been 1 or 2 teams that were going tempo. So it was a real challenge to have to play that, in a game. It's a challenge calling the game because, things happen so fast and you have to have things set a certain way. But now I look at the glass half full. Hey, this gives us a chance to play fast, think fast, and when teams do slow it down, we're going to be an advantage. The one thing I don't put, like how many plays we play, it doesn't matter. It's like the other day we made a play in a long run pop. We had a good effort play, got the guy down. Hey, we stop him 3 plays. So that gives us, it gives you a chance. So no matter if we play 90 plays, if we play 100 plays, if we play 40 plays, you got to play the same way. And I don't want our guys thinking any different.
What is the competition like outside of Travis, starting opposite of him right now?
I mean, it's good. It's every day. These guys have been going at it, and some guys have had better days, and next day another guy will have a better day. So
Last question for Coach.
We'll just, we'll see who. Like I said, we're 2 weeks out. It's a competition every day, and it's a competition in the game. I mean, guys not playing good, somebody else goes in. That's just the way it is.
Coach, you mentioned the effort you saw from Roderick Ward. What else does he bring to your defense?
Roderick is he's a physical guy. He'll come up and hit you. He's got good long speed. He has improved doing some things in the deep part of the field. Whether it be playing half field coverage or middle of the field coverage. I think the speed of the game, he's caught up with that. But he's very instinctive, and you can coach him hard. That's what I love him. I mean, all the guys that are seeing success. I mean, Shiloh will tell you, I coach all of them the same. I'm gonna coach them all equal, I'm gonna coach them hard because I want them to play at a certain level. And there's only you have to prepare to be able to play at that level.
Hey, Coach, is there a particular player on your defense that raises your blood pressure?
About 11 of them.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.